Very, very impressive. Very, very impressive, as a matter of fact. And that's, I mean, when you look at what the amount of inventory they have, it's beyond off the
It's
hook.
unbelievable.
It's
I
unbelievable.
mean,
It's
it's like,
huge. It's absolutely huge.
anyway, hey, welcome everybody who is on Facebook and YouTube. Welcome to the SoundBroker. This is our 82nd meeting. 82nd meeting. A lot of people are working, which is really good. And if you're joining us on YouTube and Facebook, thanks a lot. If you want to come in the room and be on the panel, all you have to do is email me or DM me. My email address is soundbroker@gmail.com, and we'll put you on the panel as well. Anyway, the other thing I just want to say is that everything you hear today is an opinion, so do your own research, but we'll cover a lot of information on how it affects us in our industry. So there you go. David Dansky has been showing us around the warehouse in Los Angeles from PRG. And so that's what you missed in the beginning. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the 15th of the month, where you guys are. I'm already a day ahead of you. Unfortunately, I don't have the stock news yet. I wish I can get it a day in advance as well. Then I'd be rich. It's funny how that works. You could be in a different time zone a day ahead, but you still don't have the news from the day behind. It's still happening live. Strange, I think. Anyway.
Yeah, forget the stock news. You want the lottery numbers. That's what you want.
Yeah, come on. That's what I want too. I want the lottery numbers.
Yeah. I bought a lottery ticket here in Thailand. So my first lottery ticket. So hopefully I'll win millions of baht, and then I can. Well, I don't know how it would affect me.
Do you happen to have it? I would love to see what a lottery ticket in Thailand looks like.
I don't have it. It's just a piece of paper with some numbers on it. That's about what it is.
It's a strip. It's a strip of paper. I probably have. Let me go. Hold on.
The difference, I know where it is. The main difference between the lottery is that they sell it all over the place. So, and individuals buy a bunch of these tickets, and then they sell it, and you go by numbers, and people buy their birth dates, whatever. So you can't go and get it printed like by a machine like you do in the United States. Mm-hmm. What you do is you have to look for the numbers in paper. So you go to different places to look for it, and then you find the number that you like, and then you buy the ticket, and it's 100 baht, which is about $3 US, and you win 12 million if you win 12 million baht. So it's very popular here. It never changes. It's never more than 12 million. But every week they do it, and it's super popular. And of course, just like everywhere else in the world, the poor people buy more lottery tickets than the rich. And so there you have it. Anyway, today is the 15th of the month of 2021. I bring that up because this week they announced that 800,000 Americans have died from COVID this year. And the only reason I bring that up is because I lost somebody very close 1 year ago on the 18th. And I just wanted to say that, I think about Peter every day, Peter Scher. I think about him every day and how much I miss him. And I just want to dedicate today's show to him. So there you have it. David knew Peter really well. I don't know if anybody else in the room knew Peter, but David and I definitely knew. And speaking of Peter, I got a call from Kevin Smith yesterday, David. So.
Oh yeah, I know. I had to tell him what time he could call you.
Oh, that's very nice. It was nice to hear him. So anyway, we got a lot going on, and I hope nobody else has lost anybody to COVID. But it's, I guess it's, the cat. The cat is out of the bag, the horses are on the barn, things are coming back like crazy. I've noticed how many shows are going on right now and how many shows have been announced. And I could see, being here in Bangkok, how it's starting to come back to normal, although there are certain things that aren't normal. Whereas, the way people are gathering. But I see now more tourists are coming here. What do you guys see? What do you see out there as far as how things are opening up again?
Traffic.
And mask mandates are coming in California and New York.
And it's weird because it doesn't seem to matter anymore with the mask mandates or having to have the show your vaccine card. People are just living with it and we're moving on, which I'm really happy to see. It's just it's what we're going to have to do going forward. And like David said, traffic. Here in LA, I'm back to I got to be out of the valley by 3, or else I'm stuck. So we're back.
Yeah.
Yeah, gigs are happening. Where I'm at in Florida, gigs are happening, but Florida has their own weird things going on, and it really depends on the promoter. Live Nation right now is very, very strict for people going there, and they're bucking the state, saying that, hey, sorry, if you want to see the show, go ahead and get a free test here, and that's cool. And if you're negative, go on in. Or, if you want to argue with us, guess what? You ain't getting in. And as far as people working the show, I'm getting more gigs as a dinosaur in this business, because, people in the local are saying, I'm protecting my constitutional rights, and blah, 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 blah. And the steward just says, fine, thank you very much. Have a good day. Greg, you want the gig? I went, yeah, I'll take it.
Well, that's good news for you. I mean, these people that here in Thailand, I mentioned it before, it's a 20,000 baht fine if you're caught in public without wearing a mask, and 20,000 baht is $600. And they don't give you a piece of paper and say, hey, just pay this when you can. They escort you to the ATM machine for you to give them that money right then there on the spot. And if you don't have it, you're right into the huskow, waiting for one of your relatives or friends to come up with that money. So it's pretty serious. They take the mask thing pretty serious here, and everybody's wearing a mask. I don't hear anybody complaining. The only people I see abusing the mask is foreigners. They'll wear the mask below their nose. I don't get it. But that's the way they do it.
Are the night markets open now on Sukhumvit, Jan?
I'm not really 100% sure yet because we just got here yesterday. Okay. So I don't know, but I'm going to find out for sure. But I certain things like at the hotel, they don't have this. They don't have the hot tub open. I don't quite understand that. They're still not serving in outdoors of some of the restaurants. They've changed the table settings around. The 7th floor or the 9th floor where we used to go for the executive lounge, that's closed, and so now they have it in a more spacious area down in the lobby. But I don't know. I mean, but let's talk about the shows, because right now these are the shows that I read about this week. Green Day, Fall Out Boy, Weezer's Crush Hella Mega Stadium run is starting. Justin Bieber announced dates that he's doing a world tour. Shinedown is preparing to embark on a North American tour. And they just did, they're going to be doing, they're starting off in Spokane. The Eagles came back with Hotel California. Jack White announced the tour. Tim McGraw announced the tour. The Southwest Musical Festival, it's the 36th annual one. It'll take place on March 14th to 20th in Austin. They've announced. The Elevation Festivals, they're the same people that did Wonderstruck in Cleveland and Columbus. Now they're doing, now they're going to be doing this at Garfield Park in Huron. So Walking Windows will return. Metallica is gearing up for a 40th anniversary tour starting in San Francisco. Florida comes back to Rockville, returns with Guns N' Roses, the Foo Fighters, Kiss, Korn. So Morgan Wallen's Dangerous Tour selling out across the United States. Norah Jones is going out on the road. Tenacious D, he's announced his summer tour. Def Leppard, Duran, Simon Le Bon, John Taylor, Living Colours, Rachel Wood. So man, there are a lot of shows being announced, and I don't see them canceling these shows anytime soon. So I think we're getting back to normal.
Yeah, that's exciting. That's a lot.
Yeah, and that's just this week. That's just this week that I read in Polestar or various other places where I'm getting my news. But it seems like there's more and more shows than ever before. And one show we won't see is a Monkees reunion tour. The Monkees, unfortunately, may Michael Nesmith rest in peace. You know, I had no idea how many songs that guy had written or was involved with.
I think
he wrote that hit for Linda Ronstadt. He wrote the hit for Linda Ronstadt, a different drummer.
Yeah, one of the hits. Yeah.
And so that was with the Stone Ponies, if you remember that. That just dates you a little bit more than you'd probably like to be dated.
Well, what was nice about that was when the Monkees first came on the air, it was like, a made-for-TV bands, and they weren't even playing live, and so everybody thought they were a joke. It's nice to find out that they really had the talent. And then when you look into what was going on in Laurel Canyon back in the 70s, you realize that they were in the middle of everything. With the Mamas and the Papas and the Fifth Dimension and the Eagles and Jackson Browne and Linda Ronstadt and all of that. Mickey Dolenz, all those guys right in the middle of all that.
Did you know that
accepted.
Michael Nesmith's mother invented liquid paper?
She did. They were broke. They were absolutely broke, and she started selling it to, like, she was a secretary and she was selling it to other secretaries.
Right.
And then that's how it just, somebody noticed that she was doing that, and they bought it. The next thing you know, they're millionaires.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it was 43 million she made.
Yeah.
Back then.
And she probably made it in her bathtub, too. Unbelievable.
She probably did. Bathtub was white forever. Those cracks.
Unfortunately, I don't know. And you know who else made his stuff in the bathtub? That what's that? The hot sauce, Tabasco, right, David?
Sriracha
Tabasco.
Did he make it in the?
Yeah, the Tabasco
Sriracha?
from New Orleans. Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that he made Tabasco in his bathtub too, as well.
That kind of scares me, though.
He also decided not to trademark the name. That he didn't care, and so everybody can use Sriracha now. But that was his.
Oh, he was a relative of Tesla, huh?
Yeah, he didn't care. The rooster. That was his thing.
Speaking of Tesla, Elon Musk is probably going to be sanctioned again by the SEC for opening his trap and talking about certain things that he shouldn't have been talking about. But in our industry, SIR, Dolph Remp, his father invented A1 steak sauce, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, like I said, everything's an opinion. You got to do your own research. No, but does anybody know Dolph Remp from SIR? Yeah, Adolf. I'm sorry, Adolf. It's Adolf, and I think it's A1 steak sauce. Is that his father invented?
What was he in SAR New York, or was he in L.A.?
He was L.A.
Oh, him and Jan Berry. Ken Berry. Right, Ken Berry. Jan Berry's brother. They started SIR, Equipment Rentals, and they're still big, and they're all over the country now.
Ken Berry's brother was Jan from Jan and Dean, and he ended up having all of these connections with the music manufacturers. Because the original story was, well, when Jan and Dean, broke up, or when he had his accident, he took that equipment and rented it out. But I found out later on that the story is they actually went and got equipment from all the manufacturers that he knew, and started SIR. And it was on Gordon, the first on Santa Monica, was the first one, next to Nadine's.
Yeah, and then they were the tenant. They were like the anchor tenant at the big lot, the studio lot, the Beechwood lot, the Columbia lot. Which, if you don't know about that, that's really impressive. At one point, almost the whole core of our industry was working out of that lot.
That deserves its own
C-Factor,
documentary,
A1.
and nobody's ever done it. I don't know why nobody's ever done it. It's one of the great stories of the music business. They invented pre-production rehearsals for tours on that lot.
That's right.
They did. That's pretty interesting. I didn't know. I kind of vaguely heard all that stuff, but wow, That's pretty
Yeah,
cool,
it
actually.
was a movie studio that back in the 70s, when inflation hit, they started doing location stuff. And Columbia, which was bought by Sony, I'm not sure if they were bought yet, went over to the Warner lot in Burbank, and that studio sat empty. So the sound stages trickled in. One of them was rented out as tennis courts, and another two of them were rented out by World Stage, which Jan worked for. And then A1 Audio moved in, and C-Factor Lighting and Olson Lighting, and all of them started moving in. And the next thing you know, it's rock and roll heaven with sound stages and doing pre-production rehearsals. They had a magazine, they had a restaurant. There was a management. Fleetwood Mac had their management there. It was huge. It was huge. And then only a few years later, like 2 or 3 years later, the company, the rent was something like 15 cents a square foot. And the company that owned it, who Jan may remember, raised it to 50 cents a square foot because they wanted to use it for television. And that was it. Everybody moved out. And it was over. As fast as it started, it was over. But
yeah, it's just like Theater Techniques up at Newburgh Airport. Remember the blimp hangar up there, David?
No, I know it was there, but I've never been there.
Yeah. They
did
the same thing.
Yeah, but this was 1975. This was really a long time ago.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's when Pasco Sound was at Newburgh. That was Pasco East. We had just bought out IES. And so we had all this gear up there. And God knows how many Mavis and Guelph consoles up there. And we were right there on the tarmac. And Theater Techniques, I did, KISS 76 there. And then the next week they were doing P-Funk, right there. It's a blimp hanger,
Yeah. Well, of course, the soundstage was the key because it had already set up for high amperage power and air conditioning, quiet air conditioning, and insulation everywhere. I mean, there were so many bands doing their pre-tour rehearsals there. I mean, I remember David Bowie was one of them.
Yeah, I remember the Stones doing something there as well. Led Zeppelin, because I got that job and I went on road with them. I believe they did some rehearsal there as well. I mean, it was really nice. I mean, they had some really good rehearsal rooms.
Yeah. Well, they also talk about World Stage doing the satellite, transmitting up to the satellite and back down again to the soundstage next door, which is what Elvis used when he did his thing. I mean, there was like amazing stuff going on, and Jan was involved.
That's right. It was, it was an idea that was a little bit ahead of its time, but now we're using it everywhere. We're using it right now, as a matter of fact. So that same technology that they pioneered with World Stage, which is not the same World Stage that Richard Bevan is working for. It was the original World Stage, but they went out of business. They were owned by Televisa, and when the Mexican dollar got devalued, they shut the company down.
Yeah, so the satellite truck belonged to the Mexican television station.
Yeah, it was designed to broadcast the World Cup. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to use it for the World Cup, and the guy's name was Emilio Escarga, and the whole concept was that he wanted this developed was that he wanted to broadcast the World Cup in stadiums all around the world. So let's say it would just be played in, let's say, Maracanã in Brazil, then they would broadcast it to every other stadium, and the screens would be 120 feet wide and 80 feet high in anamorphic projection. That was the whole concept, beaming from the satellite. But it never took place because he ran out of money. But it was a big idea.
And that was just another thing that was going on that lot at the time. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, we were using Donovan as our spokesperson. He was doing shows and broadcasting it up to the satellite and then back down to the next studio, although it could have been anywhere in the world. It just happened to be in the next studio. And I think because it was in the next studio, people couldn't appreciate it. Had he been in another location, I think they would have appreciated it more because, smoke and mirrors, that kind of stuff. But it was real. And speaking of real, could you believe it? Apple is going to break $3 trillion, a value of $3 trillion.
Really?
Is that not? That's amazing.
Wow.
It's like beyond amazing, you know, that a computer company like Apple, you know. But I think I don't know if their biggest item is computers anymore. I think it's cell phones and watches. You know,
they all have a decent percentage, but yeah, the computers are the smallest of those three.
Yeah, I believe when they started the watch, I think now they have something like 37% of all the watches in the world. That's unbelievable.
Plus iPads. They still have a
37%.
huge amount of
Wow.
iPads.
Yeah, I think that's what the Apple Watch is. The Apple Watch has a share of all the watches made, 37% of all the market.
Wow.
Which is amazing, you know. So that's something interesting. By the way, if you guys are going to be sending out Christmas packages, this is the busiest week for all of the agencies that use mail services like FedEx, UPS. But the post office looks like they're going to be delivering more than 12 billion pieces of mail from the time of Thanksgiving through New Year's Eve. So get your stuff out if you're sending anything by the post office. Just a FYI. Anybody planning on buying themselves anything for Christmas they want to share?
No, I passed Black Friday. I'm good. I bought my stuff in.
Yeah. Normally I buy myself something for Christmas, but this year I just can't figure out what it is I need because, you know, here I am in Thailand. There's not much I need, you know. So it's amazing that when I was living in the United States, I was ordering from Amazon at least 3-4 times a week, and since I've been to Thailand, I don't think I've ordered 2 or 3 things. You know, more than 2 or 3 things. Do you guys use Amazon Prime?
Sure.
Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah. How often
Myrna
do you order?
Myrna orders 2, 3, 4 times a week. She hates going to the store.
I mean, I'm amazed how little I'm ordering from Amazon right now. Yet, when I was living in the United States, I was ordering from them like, it seemed daily.
Yeah, I've cut back on what I order. You know, I just don't need as much stuff. I guess I'm too busy again. You know, I'm not as bored sitting around. Oh, I think I'll buy one of those. You know, that kind of thing. So,
yep. So moving on, even though this has nothing to do with what we were just talking about, but this is something that if you haven't read about, I highly recommend that you do. And that is the first eye drops that sharpen close-up vision could replace reading glasses for millions of adults. It's called VUITY, so Vuity? I don't know. It's the first eye drop for sharpening near vision. It hit the market this week after the Food and Drug approved it. So the new medicine is used to be used once a day, and it can improve your vision for up to 6 hours at a time. So if you're wearing reading glasses, 1 drop in your eye, and that's it. Boom. Now that is pretty amazing, you know, because I see a bunch of glasses in the room, and if you can get to be able to read with, you know, putting an eye drop, eventually they're going to come up with something for long distance as well. Pretty cool. We'll throw the link in the chat on that one.
I would look forward to taking that. I'm tired of wearing glasses.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that I would when I needed glasses to read, then I would get LASIK to see far, you know, because I wear glasses to see far. But so far, my eyes, even though I'm 70, I'm still able to read without glasses. And so if you do get LASIK, it turns out that you'll now need glasses to read. So they haven't perfected it yet.
No, that's
where
the
they
thing
cure
about it.
both.
Is you do one for close and one for far, and it's like, I'll just stick with glasses for that. That's what it means. Save myself the $3,000.
Yep. Plus, you got to be blind for a second, and that's one of the scariest things for me. I mean, the two things that I think that scare me the most when I think about, things about, my own mortality is one is to go blind, and two is to be buried alive. I mean, those are the two things that freak me out the most. Just a little sharing.
Thanks for the insight. At least it wasn't fire and drowning. I mean, come on.
No,
Yeah.
drowning, I hear, is the most peaceful way to die. I read an article about that. It's very peaceful.
Somebody lived to write about it?
I guess. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, those drops won't help me, Jan. I've been wearing progressives, I think, since '88. So,
Yeah.
Too much staring at the meters.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a friend that is going blind right now. He's got this, I forgot the name of his disease. It's very rare, but it's a calcium buildup in his eyes. And it basically has changed his whole life. Fortunately, he's got a big support network of his family to take care of him. And now with the technology that Apple has introduced, with the way Siri can talk to you and it can read to you, and you could control your computer with your voice, he's managing, and that's pretty cool. I mean, but it is a fear of mine. Anyway, by the way, guys, we've always mentioned Viome, and Viome is now having another sale. A health intelligent kit for $152, and the gut intelligent test is what I recommend, is $84.15, and the code is 2022 and the word "you" in all capitals. So that's 2022, capital Y, capital O, capital U. And so Viome is a wonderful way to go. Kurt, I'm just curious, did you end up getting these supplements from them?
I haven't received them yet, but I did order them just to give it a try because I've had such good results with just following the food recommendations has made a huge difference. So I'm like, why not give it a shot and see what it does? I know that that's a way that they're just trying to make money, but if it's custom tailored to my specific chemistry, then maybe it will help even more than just food recommendations. It's worth a shot.
It's a really excellent program. I've been on it for a long time now, and it really does work. I mean, it makes me feel good. Although living in Thailand, I am gaining weight for sure because, having a girlfriend that likes to cook, it's hard to say no. Really hard to say no. So, anyway, let's see. What else could I say? New Zealand is going to ban cigarettes for future generations. New Zealand will ban the sale of tobacco to its next generation in a bid to eventually phase out smoking in the country. So now anyone born after 2008 in New Zealand will not be able to buy cigarettes or tobacco products in their lifetime under the new law. That's pretty amazing.
Well, they're going to miss the pleasure of a cigar then.
Yep. And speaking of international news, Sweden is going to reclaim places that were named from IKEA. I guess they're taking them away from IKEA because IKEA used to. I guess basically they name their products from cities in Sweden, and evidently it's all going back to Sweden now. So just in case you had a Glasgow, dining room set, I guess it's now called the IKEA dining room set. So, what else going on?
IKEA just got too big, Jan. That's what it is, and the government wants some money.
Yeah. Yep. I guess one other thing has to do with government. I don't know if you've known this, but the government is now getting involved in combating spoof robocalls. And now you have to register your number. I don't know if you've seen that yet, but that's coming. My company, Nextivo, send out an email saying that if you're going to use a third-party number with Nextiva, you have to register it with them so that to prevent spoof calls. And that's really cool. And we'll throw that into the chat as well. So I just get so many calls every day from people I don't know. It's just crazy. What about you guys?
Well, I gave up on the major carriers about 3 years ago, and I went to a secondary carrier because I'm old and half bald. I'm using Consumer Cellular, and they've been blocking it since 2016. They were way ahead of the curve. I rarely get one. I think I got one. I'm 67, so during Medicare sign-up season, everybody was calling, but I got one, and all my friends said, "Oh my God, my phone's blowing up." So I think it's a good thing, actually.
I get about 4 scam calls a day, and I have AT&T. I don't know what, I've registered my number with the, block call, do not calls, and all that kind of stuff. I still get 4 a day. Yeah. But my phone identifies them, so I just don't even pick them up.
Yeah, mine too. Caller ID is pretty good. I'm with T-Mobile, and I can't recommend it high enough. They're really a good telephone company. I'm using them here in Thailand. I bought a global package before I left. It's $100 for the month, and it's unlimited phone calls from anywhere in the world to anywhere in the world, with a bunch of high-speed internet, so that you could use your phone. Because when you're traveling in Waze is amazing. That program, WAZE, for traveling, it's just great, and it's spectacular here in Thailand. I mean, it really gets you around the country. I just can't imagine what it was like anymore when I used to have to use a paper map or the Thomas Brothers Guide in Los Angeles. I mean, I don't know how I survived. Oh my God,
it was always on your lap. Oh, well, on my lap anyway.
Yeah.
You're constantly, I'm on 29. I got to go to 30. What do I do now?
Well, they gave you the master map, and you had to have that master map folded in a way so you could see when it went from page to page.
That's right. Oh my God, now I got to go to square E4. Forget that. Where's that? Oh, real quickly.
So now you guys using Google?
Not to date myself, but does anybody recall triptychs from AAA, to where you said, "Hey, I'm going to South Dakota," and they would have this like big fan thing,
It's a map. They kind of outline it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think AAA you could still get. I think they still give you maps, paper maps. I think you can go in there and order paper maps, which is pretty cool. There's not something like a map when you look at it. And does anybody in the room know what a map maker is actually called? A guy that does the maps?
Cartographer.
There you go. That's right. And so, I thought that's always spectacular how they could figure that out. It's just mind blowing, But are you guys using Waze, Google Maps? What are you using? Apple Maps?
I'm Waze.
David, what are you using? I think
Google
David's
Maps.
Frozen.
Google Maps.
Google Maps. Greg, what do you use?
It depends on where I'm at geographically. Sometimes Waze is better. And if I'm lazy, since I'm on an iPhone, I'll just use Apple Maps if I'm, going local. Who cares? Other times, Google Map. Google Maps in downtown St. Louis. I remember it just spinning. And all I wanted to do was go to a ramen place, which is about 4 blocks from my place. But, I'm looking at my phone and everything's whirling around. And I'm like, so it was dead reckoning after that,
Yeah.
Dead reckoning. I like Waze because it shows where the police are. But the thing I don't like about Waze is the fact that it tells me every time there's a car on the side of the road, it shows me all these little goofy characters with, I guess they're supposed to be people's feelings and emotions. Like, what do I care what you're feeling on the road? I just want to get from here to there, and I wanted to make sure there's no policeman that's going to pull me over. That's what I want to know.
Yeah. One of the things that they have here,
especially when you're in California, Kelly.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. One of the things they have here is they have signs up that say, the video cameras, right? Video cameras catching you for speeding. But not all of the signs are really video. They have the signs up, but they don't always have the video cameras up. And what Waze does is tell you, even though you're seeing a sign, when the real cameras are there. So when we're driving down the road, it could be a phony sign just to slow you down. But Waze tells you if the camera is really there, which is pretty cool. Anyway, speaking of Google, this year in the search, Google announced the most popular search trends of the year, and Google said that the number one search thing in America was the NBA, followed by DMX, Gabby Pito. I guess I don't even know what happened with that story about where I guess she got killed by her boyfriend, and I have no idea. Anyway. This guy, Brian Landry, I guess he is, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name. And the top 10 searches are Mega Millions, AMC stock, stimulus check, Georgia Senate race, and the Squid Games. So those were the top searches of the years for Google, in case you were interested at all. I was very surprised that Jan Landy or SoundBroker was in one of the top searches because I search every day for myself. Let's see. What else is new?
Well,
England.
it's because you were in Thailand, Jan.
Yes, that's probably what it was. That's probably what it is. Well, let's see. Oh, I know something. My senator, Cortez Masto, Catherine Cortez, introduced the bipartisan legislation to support the entertainment industry. So now Michael Strickland and all of his congressional cronies, there looks like there might be some relief for all of us now, where we might be able to get some money. I sent that out to a few people last week. I didn't see anything this week about it, but I know that it's running around in Congress right now. So all of us might be able to get some grant money, which would be great. I would love it. It would really make it a lot easier for us. That's for sure. But I am seeing things, pick up right now in the business world. So that's about it.
So who's gigging online? Is anybody? Anthony, I saw Angela. I saw you just popped in. Are you gigging?
No, I'm not. I am 100% retired. I'm retired. I retired from the church I was working at and took a small contract, and that ended. So I'm just out being a sponge to anything that makes noise.
That's how you get gigs.
That's how you get gigs.
We're doing.
Well, I hear Las Vegas is looking for people right now for work. And by the way, Tina pointed out that the MGM is buying the Cosmopolitan. I believe I read that right.
Yep.
And
Wait,
so
about
that's.
the Hard Rock, right?
I heard that they want the Hard Rock as well.
The Hard Rock just brought the Mirage.
Yeah.
The Hard Rock just brought the Mirage.
Yep.
Yeah. And they're going to build a tower just like they have in Florida, that's shaped like a guitar.
Yep. And who knows what they're going to do with the fountain, the volcano fountain.
Well, that's where the guitar is going to be, so you can pretty much say goodbye to that.
Or unless they have the lava falling out of the guitar. That's always a possibility.
I thought the Hard Rock closed a couple of years ago.
Different building.
That was bought by Virgin.
Yeah, that's Virgin now, and the Hard Rock is, just bought the Mirage and taken over. Must have taken the money from selling to Virgin.
Yeah, they've been looking for a couple of years.
Yeah, I'm trying to find
There's
that
a
article
lot of
right
new
now.
residences coming up, Jan, in Las Vegas. I saw a couple of those come by. A lot of people are, taking that residence money right now in Las Vegas.
Yeah, what's the piano? John Legend. He's I read about him. Lady Gaga. Who else is doing a residence? Not sure. I haven't been following the Las Vegas news, but every once in a while I do hear about, like the shows that are announced. And John Legend, I know, is going in. Who else is doing? Brad Garrett opened this comedy show. I saw that online. That now the comedy shows are coming back. So everything's coming back. Everything's coming back. Here's an interesting bit. Like people are working and, they've been working out of their houses. And some of the big corporations have been tracking their employees by their mouse movements, right? And now one of the biggest sales items out there right now is a mouse mover. Basically, you put your mouse on top of it, and it has a light that spins around, and it moves your mouse around. So these people are now beating their corporations that by not working and putting their mouse on the mouse mover. So it's crazy.
That's amazing. They go to that extent of tracking how often your mouse moves. Come on.
God, my God, that is pretty impressive that they would do something like that. And, I think it's despicable, to be blunt with you. But I guess
it's paranoia.
Yeah. Well, basically during this time when people are working out of their houses, and I remember calling a bank and the woman couldn't even pay attention to what I was saying. I mean, if you remember, I was going through that Bank America problem, and the woman couldn't even pay attention because her kid was distracting her so much from working from the house. So, but I don't know what's going to happen as far as people going back to the office. I think now a lot of people are really content in working out of their house. I don't think people need that much office time as much as they used to, or as much as they thought they did. But some people do. Some people can't work on their own. Some people really do need some regiment in their life.
Well, it's not only regiment, it's also, too, especially in sales and marketing, you get a bunch of people together in one room and, ideas start bouncing back and forth, but for customer service people, or for, regular IT people, or for, there's a new norm. I mean, all three of the bigs in the Valley right now are saying, don't come back to the end of the year. Apple, Google, and Facebook. They're saying, hang back. But you better be online.
Yeah, I would think so too. And speaking of that, being online, I know how this transition is amazing, but homicides are up in the United States in 12 major cities, break records. So homicides, be careful out there in America, but they now have a lead in New Jersey on where Jimmy Hoffa's body might be. So after all these years, Jimmy Hoffa is still in the news. I just thought I'd bring that up. That's about it. Let me see. What else can I say? The other thing is that's moving ahead in England. Say that again. You're in the car, so you can't. We can't really.
Crater. Isn't that the famous guy? Okay. Never mind.
Anyway, one last thing I want to point out, and then this is the last news story I have, and then we can talk about whatever anybody else wants to talk about. England is going to require COVID passes for everyone to enter into a venue. So England has moved into the country's decision. It's going to be called the Plan B response to the coronavirus. And so now if you're going to a concert in England, you're going to have a COVID pass. So that's something. I don't think it'll ever happen here in the United States, but it is something that is going on.
New York. It's happening in New York right now. You know, if you go to a Broadway show, you got to have a New York app, and you get in. You know, in England, it's the NHS pass, and if I were to fly to London right now, you know, besides all what you have to do in order to get in as an American, once you get there, they automatically enroll you in the NHS as long as you pass. Just like you had to roll into the app, Jan, when you went into Thailand.
Yes, it's and it's still on my phone. It still has to be on my phone. Although they are relaxing, they are definitely relaxing a lot of the restrictions here. I noticed that, you know, so it's changing. I mean, the world is changing. It's a changing place. But with this new Omicron, I think I'm pronouncing it right. Omicron. Good enough.
Omicron.
You know, they say it's not so deadly. And so, I mean, somebody told me that that's how viruses work. You know, they eventually they become contagious, but they become less deadly. I don't know if that's true or not.
I heard that a long time ago.
You know, and so if that's the case, then, you know, it's a good thing. That we'll all get back to normal until the next thing comes along. So let's all stay safe and healthy. All right, well, that's all I have to as far as news goes for the world. So is there anybody that would like to talk about anything else that's on their mind? Okay, well, that's it. So, but
No, I already talked to y'all about what, you know, my Sunday night gig. So, and we kept it offline because it was, you know, I don't want to be speaking out of turn because I want another gig with that particular employer. So,
I appreciate that. I absolutely appreciate that. I appreciate that you're doing it that way. You know. But something is going on now. Somehow I'm losing my my audio. I don't know how that happened.
We're all
right.
Quiet.
And it sounds like David's being pulled over by the cops. I don't know.
All right, I'm back.
Where the police are.
So, Jan, how long do you plan to stay in Thailand?
Well, I don't have any plans to return right now. That's the interesting thing. But I know I do have to return. I mean, there is a period of time where I do have to return.
Yeah.
You know, I have to take care of my life in the United States. But at this point in time, it seems like everything's working well. Business is running smoothly. Mm-hmm. I really have to thank Tina for everything that she's doing. You know, she's keeping the office alive and well. And when we have things that we have to ship out from the office, like Avid parts, or then she runs in and takes care of it. And, you know, is it a little challenging to work from Thailand? Yes, it is. But am I doing it? Absolutely, I'm doing it, and I'm enjoying it. And it's I don't know when I'm going to be returning, but I know it won't. You know, I'm not going to stay here for the rest of my life.
Right, the visa's got to run out sometime.
Yeah, the visa runs out in June of next year, but I'll be able to renew that. That should
right.
But you know, I'm building a life here, and it's a good life. I like the life here, and I'm starting to look into some things about business here as well to span SoundBroker. In case the government's listening, I can say that. Because what do they say? You can do something for a certain amount of years. You could write it off, and then it becomes a hobby. So.
Jan, look into with the Thai embassy about a retirement visa there.
Well, I'm not ready.
For yourself only. All you have to do is, put in $5,000 and, name your Thai bank. And then, go get yourself a condo. I mean, you can get a cheap 2-bedroom condo in Bangkok, even in Sukhumvit for, $600 a month.
Yeah. Well, that's not the challenge. The challenge that I'm looking at right now, and that is come January, very soon, they're changing the laws here to make it much easier for foreigners to live in Thailand. So we're going to see what happens when that comes into effect in the next month. And then we'll make a decision what we'll want to do. But in the meantime, everything's going smooth, and I'm happy, and I'm healthy, and I'm staying active, and I'm having a good life. And so that's that's all I can say is I'm enjoying my life, and I guess that's what it's all about, right?
It certainly is. Certainly is. I'm glad you're happy and healthy, but what the hell am I going to have sushi with in Las Vegas now?
That's right. Well, I can't help you there, but I will. All right, I'll find a list of people. We'll advertise for people to join you for sushi.
There you go. Trust me. I'll find
he's having Kelly. He's having spicy crab and pad thai and
he's having a good time.
Yeah. It's funny. My girlfriend loves Thai food, and she'll say, "You can't eat this. You can't eat this. This is too spicy." And I say, "Yeah, I can eat it." And then I'll take a bite. And it's like, oh my God! I don't know how they put that in their bodies. It's so spicy.
Yeah.
You should try Bhutanese food, Jan. It's twice as spicy as Thai food. So. Yeah. Well, because remember I told you I have my house in Paro, Bhutan, but and at some point I'm going to be doing exactly what you're doing right now. Probably maybe 2022, maybe 2023. Got to see, but I'll be a Himalayan snowbird.
Well, that's good. Well, that is good. And listen, I really thank everybody for coming today. We're going to stay a little longer, ourselves, but we're going to say goodbye to those people on Facebook and YouTube. And thank you for coming. We really appreciate it. Just remember, if you want to be part of the panel, just email me at SoundBroker@gmail.com or DM me or get a message to me, and we'll send you the link. So thanks again for watching. Remember, you make it happen. Next week will be a couple of days before Christmas. We should have more people in the room because everybody will be doing nothing for Christmas, and be some interesting conversation. So remember, stay safe and healthy, and you make it happen, and we'll see you again next week. And say goodbye to the people on YouTube and Facebook, because